We are back. We're back. Illini back in action after a full week off, thanks to Minnesota's COVID pause. Illini are back with a win. They beat Rutgers 69-60. We're here to recap it. We are No One Asked Us. I'm Craig Choate. That is the Logan Lee on the screen across from me. Our social medias are on the page or in the description wherever you're watching or listening, at Craig W. Choate, at the Logan Lee. We are at No One Asked Us Pod on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Actually, Facebook, we are at No One Asked Us. All that good stuff. Follow us, like, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a little button down below. It's a thumbs up. All you got to do is hit it. All you got to do is hit that. If you already subscribed, we really appreciate you. If you haven't yet, hit the button right next to it that says subscribe. We would love you forever. 3 days is Valentine's Day. You'd get a Valentine's Day card from us if you subscribe. Logan will send that in the mail. How you doing, Logan? Long time no see.
We already love you forever, all of you loyal viewers out there, for what it's worth.
We got a couple of them.
We would love you even more.
We
would love you even more if you dropped a like. Yeah, Craig, I'm great. Yeah, it's been a little while. I just tweeted out. Hopefully, I'm not as rusty as the Illini were to start this game, because we haven't been able to do this, or I haven't been able to do this much lately. So, yeah, I thought we were going to be on the air Tuesday night. Obviously, that didn't happen. So, gonna have a lot of us in the next few weeks. That's all I'll say.
What shirt is that? Dream Team?
Dream try, do good.
Dream try, do good. Okay.
You know what that's a reference of?
Yeah, it's Craig? Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World. Yes.
I saw the
kudos to you.
Thing on the logo on your sleeve. It's
my new favorite brand. No free ads, but homage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have at least 3 of their shirts now, and I just love them. So if you're looking to give me a gift, Craig, or any listener out there that may or may not be a parent of mine, or something that might, want to give me a gift at some point down the road, just head to their website. You can find all sorts of fun things that would be perfect for me. Again, no free ads, but a gift for me, not for the other people.
I'm gonna put a little bug in your ear. I did get you
bugs.
A gift. I haven't sent it yet, but I got
you
a
got
gift.
Me a gift?
I haven't told you about yet.
Is it an Iowa jersey?
No, you'll be getting it in the mail. Don't worry. Let's talk basketball.
Is it a wedding invitation?
That's coming as well.
Oh, no. Great.
Let's talk basketball. Illinois wins
69-60,
17-7, 17-7 overall, 8-5 in the Big Ten. We were just talking about the Big Ten standings right before we came on, and Logan's like, "What a jumbled mess!" Because 8-5 is second, 4-way tie for second, I believe. It's just like we said weeks ago. It's 1, it's 13-14, and then 2-12 is just scattered. Although there is a little separation at the bottom now, with Ohio State losing some and kind of taking that 11-12 spot. But running through the stats here, I'm not prepared. Coleman Hawkins, I believe, led the team. Yeah, Coleman Hawkins, 18 points. Terrence Shannon, Dain Diana with 15. Matthew Meyer with 8. Jaden Epps with 6. Sincere Harris, 5. Ty Rogers with 2. Rebounds, really impressive. Matthew Meyer with 8. Coleman Hawkins with 8. Dain Diana with 7. Ty Rogers with 7. A couple other guys had, I think, Terrence Shannon had 4. Coleman Hawkins had 4 rebounds. Coleman had a very good game. Coleman had a very, very, very good game. Looking at the team stats like we always do, Illinois shot 48% from the field, 25% from 3, 67% from the free throw line. Rutgers shot 35% from the field, 25 from 3, 67 from the free throw line. Total rebounds, Illinois out-rebounded Rutgers 40-35. At the first media timeout, Illinois was getting out-rebounded like 9-2, and Rutgers had 6 offensive rebounds. So for Illinois to come back and bounce back and win the rebounding battle was great. Illinois did have 17 turnovers to Rutgers 9. Other than that, anything else stand out? I don't believe so. Everything else was pretty even. So I think the first key, 19-0 run. Halfway, I don't know when it started, but Rutgers didn't score for 10 minutes. Not a single point. They didn't score for 10 minutes. Illinois went on a 19-0 run, got it to, I believe, 13 or 14, the lead was. Rutgers tried to do the fake rally. They did a little bit of a fake rally, got it to 9, I think. And then Illinois kind of withstood it. But that was the key. I don't remember what the lineup was. I should have paid attention, but I think Sincere was on the floor for that. Actually, I think someone sent me the tweet from Mike LaTulip of who it was. I can't find it. Yeah. Hawkins, Shannon, Harris, Rogers, and Epps flipped the game. That was from Mike LaTulip during the game. That was the 19-0 run. So that was the moment. I was kind of discouraged up until then, but then everything flipped, and it was a great second half. What was it? 37-22 in the second, 39-26. Illinois won the second half. So that's the story right there. 19-0 run.
Yeah, it was the defense. We knew the defense was going to be key in this game. These are two teams that are historically known this season for being good defensive teams. I believe it was, they said it early on in the broadcast, first team to 60 would win this game, and that's what happened. It was a defensive game in that second half, especially. Illinois was bad in the first half. They came out extremely flat. No energy, and they kept with Rutgers. It never felt out of control. But for most of that first half, they were playing catch up. They finally got within like 3 or 4 points at the end of the first half. I think it was 4 points at the end of the first half, which didn't feel, it felt positive, I think. But you're right. It was that 19-0 run. That was great defense. Rutgers struggled to get a lot of things going offensively, but Illinois looked really good. And that's what you need. This is a good Rutgers team, but this is not a game you can afford to lose at home. We're into this final stretch of the season, and there's a lot of games coming up. Thanks to the Minnesota cancellation, it's going to get a lot more tricky here the next few weeks. So this is a game that you really couldn't afford to lose. So they did what they had to do with that run, especially that was a huge key, and they came out and did what they had to do against Rutgers, because that's a really good Rutgers team. So you got to be proud about that.
Yeah, Rutgers isn't. I've said it for 3 weeks now. Every time we talk about Rutgers, I always say this isn't the roster that I expected to be this good. They had Geo Baker and Ron Harper Jr. and that year they had Miles Johnson and the point guard Jacob Young, the lefty point guard. Like, I felt like those rosters were constructed better with better players, but for some reason, this Rutgers team has been playing the best, but they still are offensively challenged. And we saw that in that 19-0 run where Caleb McConnell had a wide open floater in the lane and short armed it and off the front of the rim. I mean, so that's where you can beat Rutgers, but they're great defensively. And I thought they showed that tonight. Before the run happened, I texted the guys. I said, I forgot how I worded it, but I made it sound like Brad was doing a bad job, but he really wasn't. It's just that Steve Peichel is such a mastermind.
Yeah.
He's so good at game planning, because it seemed like, and I know this isn't the case, but it seemed like every time down the court, Rutgers was in a different defense. They were throwing a 2-3 zone out. They were throwing the full court press out. They were playing half court man at times. It's just Illinois didn't know what to expect, like especially coming out of timeouts. He did that 4 or 5 times coming out of timeouts. He was in a different defense than he was before, and I think it just threw Illinois for a loop. So
he's playing.
I don't know
chess.
how much longer he's going to be. He can't be at Rutgers much longer, right?
No,
he's got to go somewhere else.
He'll get a better job. He's playing chess out there when a lot of teams are playing checkers. I want to circle back to the comment that you made about this Rutgers team being surprisingly good compared to maybe the more talented teams they've had in the past, and I don't disagree with that. But can we ask the question? Is it just the fact that the Big Ten is not as strong? I mean,
could be.
I mean, that's certainly like a part of this, I think, because outside of Purdue, I mean, granted, Purdue's Purdue, but
they beat Purdue.
Yeah, I know they did beat Purdue, but still, I don't know. This Big Ten as a whole is not as strong. But anyway, go on.
Next key for us was, I think I put these in tonight, so this is kind of just my key 3. First half, you had nothing. You had 3 points from Terrence Shannon Jr., Matthew Meyer in the first half, and you were only down 4. And then they go off for, I think, 18 in the second half, 20 in the second half, and Illinois wins by 9. I think that shows a little bit of who this team can be, and what this team can do, because Coleman Hawkins carried the load in that first half. I don't think he had a double in the first half, did he? But
No, he didn't.
he
He didn't finish with
had
a double period.
he had 7, 3, and 3 in the first half. Dain had 11 and 4 in the first half. Now Meyer did have 7 rebounds, but points wise, you only had 3 from your top 2 scorers in the first half. You were down 4, kept you in the game, and allowed you to go on that 19-0 run in the second half, fueled kind of by Shannon and Meyer to get the win. So I thought that was huge that they kept it close in the first half when your 2 best players statistically did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, this is where we've talked about the depth on this team several times. This is where
I questioned it last week.
Well, we've questioned it, but I think there's a good part to the depth and there's a bad part to the depth. And this is obviously an example of the good part of the depth. There are numerous guys on this team that can carry you in games like this. While they may not be as strong at the 8-9 spot in the rotation, 7-8-9 spot in the rotation, they have 4 or 5 guys that can put up, 15 to 20 points in a game. So when your 2 best players do struggle, you are able to have Coleman Hawkins and Dain Diana really carry your offense, which is what they did. Coleman was fantastic. He filled out the stat sheet, which included 5 turnovers. But he did everything. He had a number in everywhere on the stat sheet.
All 5 of those in the second half.
Yes. He's a talented player, but he also does some stupid things with the basketball in his hands. But
there were a couple of those moments tonight where this team, as I said last year, went stupid. Yeah, there were some bonehead basketball plays tonight.
Today. But yeah, I think it's just an example of what the good part of this team's depth is. I don't know how to phrase that better, but it's one of the positives to the depth is what you can get out of these guys.
Speaking of Goody got his first minutes, only 5, I believe, all in the first half. Yeah, he did not play a minute in the second half. He attempted 1 shot. I thought it was a 3, but they don't have it down as a 3 here, which he did miss. But first Luke Goody minutes to go hand in hand with 0 minutes from a RJ Melendez. Haven't heard anything, did not see anything that he was unavailable, that he's been injured. Has to just be a culmination of Luke Goody coming back, Ty Rodgers playing so well, and the team was playing pretty well after the first. Yeah, I would say after the first half. First half was not great, but RJ's the one that's going to lose the minutes now that Luke Goody's back, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Brad never said anything was wrong with RJ, so I'm not convinced that something is or isn't wrong. It still seems odd that he got 0 minutes, especially when Luke hardly played. I mean, yes, he did play 5 minutes, but yeah, the RJ Melendez thing is obviously concerning. He has struggled all season long, has not figured it out. So if it was just in fact a coach's decision as to why he did not play in this game, that's a tough beat, because a lot of people really had high hopes for him. But you're right, he's been outplayed. Ty Rodgers has over the course of the last month emerged as a real crucial bench piece on this team. The freshmen in general. I mean, Sincere Harris had some good minutes today. Jaden Epps has provided good minutes all season long. So, whenever you start getting more Luke Goody minutes, yeah, I don't know what the trajectory for RJ Melendez is at this point. Maybe he figures it out and gets more minutes as we get further in down the stretch. But definitely not a good sign for him if it was in fact just the coach's decision type of thing that he didn't play.
You mentioned the freshman here, Sincere Harris. He played 19 minutes. He was plus 21 in the plus minus in 19 minutes. What a game.
Yeah.
Ty Rodgers was plus 12. Coleman Hawkins was plus 11. No one else in double figures. But plus 21 in 19 minutes is damn impressive. Very impressive. All right, we've got
he's done a lot.
Got a handful of you guys, quite a handful of you guys in the chat. So thank you for joining us. We will get to some of these now, starting with Brant. He is pretty loyal to us. Coleman had a solid day. If not for the 5 turnovers, it would have been perfect. He's got a couple on here. Dain was also solid. And thoughts on Goody, already covered all of that. We didn't really talk about Dain. So do you want to talk about Dain a little bit?
Best post player since Kofi Coburn. I mean,
You're really proud of that one. You think that's funny, don't you?
It didn't really get any traction. No, I mean, as I said about Coleman, it's same thing. I mean, there's just enough guys on this team that Dain Diana. Defensively, I don't know that this team can shut down the best post players in the Big Ten, but Dain is right in that mix offensively in terms of what he can do with the basketball. He was great. He had another really nice night for Dain Diana. And he's going to have more opportunities to do that here the rest of the season. But it's really nice to see him continuing to perform like that.
He got Amori in foul trouble.
Yeah,
Amori only played,
which was huge too.
Did Amori play? Oh, Cliff Amori. He played 24 minutes out of a potential 40. So the foul trouble on Amori was Dain got him in foul trouble. So from Kai here, took us about 30 minutes to wake up, but took care of business for our top 25 team. Crazy what this team could accomplish if all players show up in a single game. We have not seen that yet. We have not seen a game where Terrence Shannon, Matthew Meyer, Coleman Hawkins, Dain Diana, where all four of them, and I don't know that we will, because it's hard to get four players playing at their highest in the same game. More often than not, you're going to have two, maybe three that can go off for 15 to 20. It's hard to have four players play the best game of their season, but that's something I didn't think of. Logan said off the top, this team hadn't played in a week. It's unusual for this time of year to have a full week off. So that could have been a factor, and I had not thought of that until Logan said it right off the top of the show. So, yeah, definitely could have been something, and I looked it up, and I meant to say it. I don't know if I did at the top. 4th ranked win for the Illini this season. I don't have quad 1 wins. I believe this would qualify as a quad 1. They have to be top 50.
It's quad 1 at least right now, yeah.
I know the Wisconsin ranked win has fallen because they have fallen, but 4th ranked.
Their 5th quad 1 win, I believe.
Okay.
Or maybe 4th quad 1 win. Yeah,
okay.
4th quad 1 win.
Another loyal viewer listener, Michael, back in today. Solid effort all around. Defense really shut them down late. Need to stop these circus plays when we have a fair lead. Good way to change momentum to them. I'm assuming he's referencing the lob, maybe? The lob attempt for Coleman.
Sincere threw that a little high.
Yeah.
I don't disagree, but
could you imagine if it would have been a good pass, though?
Yeah.
It was close. It was close.
Electric.
It would have been awesome. This is from Jeff. Illini need more of today's Coleman. Today's Coleman is the first-round pick Coleman, other than the 5 turnovers, but a lot of those, they weren't terrible turnovers, but this is the NBA prospect Coleman Hawkins.
Right.
We've got a lot of questions about RJ here. Jeff, did I miss something with Melendez today? Did not play unless I missed something. No, he did not play today. There was another one about RJ, but RJ did not play today. I'm waiting to see from the beat people, the beat reporters. I'm waiting on a tweet. Somebody is bound to ask, but I haven't seen anything about that yet. Brant, again, 17 turnovers are too many. Agreed. Illinois went stupid a couple times. 5 on Hawkins, 4 on Epps, 3 on Meyer. The inbounds pass that Caleb McConnell just I looked down. I was going to tweet something. I looked down, and next thing I know, McConnell has the ball coming out of the timeout. Do you remember? You know what play I'm talking about? It was out of a timeout.
He just took it
out. Jaden was passing to Jaden, and McConnell just kind of snuck in there and poked it away.
Yeah.
Those were the only 3 players in the screen. Everyone else was on the other side.
Yeah. No, I don't know exactly what happened, but I vaguely remember what you're talking about. There was a couple of times in this game where the ball just kind of ended up in somebody else's hands, which Dain just kind of stole a ball away from somebody at one point too.
Oh,
which I thought was kind of.
Speaking of, can we talk about Coleman just stopped playing defense at one point in the first half? He just stopped and let the guy score. And before the guy scored, he's already yelling at Dain Diana because he did something wrong. But the ball's like 2 feet from him. What's he doing?
His controller got disconnected. Coleman, love him to death, man. But Coleman has a tendency to talk too much, I think. He's always complaining about something, arguing something that he may or may not actually believe. Between the Coleman Hawkins arguing calls with officials and Matthew Meyer acting himself into a three free
Oh, that
throw
was a
attempts.
foul.
It's not the first time this has happened. He's very good at it. He is very
You know what else
good at
Coleman
it.
did? Missed a dunk, hung on the rim, and tried to dunk it again. Now, why is that a technical? I don't know why that's a technical, but
I Stephen Bardo acted like that was like a common thing that you should
I'm
know
so
that we
done
see
with
all the
Bardo.
time. Well, yeah, we can have that discussion later, but I don't. That's not something you see very often. I'm sure he should know better than that, but as the common viewer, I'm not sure that that's a rule that we should all necessarily know. But yeah, that was a little comical, for lack of a better term.
My man Dustin in the chat today. It's nice to be on the good end of a 19-0 run. That's so true.
That's a great point.
For the past 8 years, it's always been Illinois giving up the 19-0 run. So yeah, it was
so good.
And to be honest, like I didn't feel like it was that electric of a 19-0 run. I felt like it was kind of just a normal,
it was quiet.
Rutgers is missing shots. Illinois is just making them.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anything special about it, but it was good to be on the positive side. I will agree with Michael today. Refs were good staying out of the game. Few missed calls or bad calls. There were a couple. I know the one that they called out on Illinois was the broadcast showed it clearly was out on Rutgers, and even Larry Scarrato told Brad, he's like, "Hey, I missed that. Like, that's my fault." Yeah. That's the calls that bother me. Like, they're obvious ones, but there weren't a ton of them. There were not a ton of them today. Yeah, and everyone's just kind of praising the freshman. Joe Groves, freshman, got us back in this game again. Michael, again, future looks bright with these freshmen. I agree. I love this freshman class. Another question from Jeff. Wasn't RJ a starter at the beginning of the season? He was.
Yep.
He was. Let's see. Real quick. He probably started, 12 games? He probably started the first 12 games, I would say.
At least. I don't have that number in front of me, but yes, he did start for a good chunk of the start of the season.
ESPN doesn't have that. Oh, yeah, 11. He started 11 games this year. 11 of the 23 heading into today, he had started. All right, still trying to comb through these chat here. If you got any, throw them in there. From Brad P. With the upcoming schedule, Illinois will be worn out by the time the NCAA tournament starts and won't have the legs to make a deep run. I just think that's everyone in the Big Ten. And I've said this for 2 years when the conversation of why does the Big Ten struggle in the NCAA tournament? Since the Big Ten went to 20-game schedules and the condensed schedule where you rarely have days off or 7 days between games like Illinois had here, and the only reason Illinois had that here was because of COVID. The Big Ten is just grinding these teams down to nothing. And then in the Big Ten tournament, you play 3 games in 3 days, the top 4 teams. If you happen to be a 5 or 6 seed and go to the championship game, you play 4 games in 4 days. And then you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 3 days off potentially, and then you're playing your first round game on Thursday. The end of the season is just too much of a grind. And I'm not going to say that that's going to keep Illinois from going on a deep run, but it's something the Big Ten needs to look at, I think. I don't know that the 20 games conference schedule is where it's at.
No, but I think also the concern here is the fact that Minnesota game got pushed back, and now it just adds another game at the beginning of that, what's going to be a very long stretch. But you're right. I don't think this is necessarily just an Illinois problem. Granted that they do have that extra game now. But you're right. I think it's Big Ten scheduling, and it's just the nature of the Big Ten. These teams just always just beat up on each other. This isn't new. This has been the case for years. But I don't know that that's necessarily just a Big Ten thing either. So while I certainly can see concern about this team with, that many games down the stretch, I don't think it's really something that we should worry about, just because I think there's a lot of other factors that go into this thing too.
Kai, I think with a response to Brad's comment, or the Illini will be dialed and go on a great run down the stretch. This team is built better for out of conference teams. Yeah, that's the way Brad constructed this roster. Was more like a Houston that beat Illinois last year, more like a Big 12 team. Obviously, you have 3 Big 12 transfers. Will it work? We'll see. I don't know. I'm withholding judgment still. I still don't think we know what this team is. I mean,
Just get me to the second weekend.
They're so up and down. Like
I want a gif of that. I want a gif of you doing this. Just give me to the second weekend, baby. Just give me to the second weekend. That's
Kyler Gentry. Only team to beat Illinois this year is Illinois. I don't know about that. This is a good point here from David. Shannon has
hold
to stop
on. Let's go back. Let's go back to that one.
Where are we at?
Because the only team to beat Illinois is Illinois. That's fair. Indiana beat Illinois.
I think Iowa beat Illinois.
Yes.
Last weekend.
Iowa also beat Illinois. I've already forgotten about that.
I think Mizzou beat Illinois. Mizzou throttled Illinois.
Yes. Illinois beat Illinois against Penn State. Maybe.
And
Penn State also played really well, but Illinois was abysmal that game.
You were there.
I was there. I witnessed that. Yeah. All right. But yeah, I think several teams have beaten Illinois, but I don't think that statement is totally off. Moving on.
This was the one from David. Shannon has to stop letting non-calls affect him so much. I 100% agree.
I agree.
1,000, a million, trillion percent agree.
He is in his head.
Too emotional. Yes. Too emotional. Yeah, this is the stretch we were talking about. Illinois is going to have 4 games in 8 days. Michael called out. I was just looking at it. It's starts, I believe, at Indiana versus Minnesota versus Northwestern at Ohio State. So 3 of those 4 are very winnable games. It's just, can you keep your legs? Yeah, that's going to be the issue there. And then David with another question for us: have they really been that up and down since January? I don't know that it's necessarily up and down. You don't know which team you're going to get.
I don't think they've been up and down. I mean, I think that they could not defend Trace Jackson Davis on the night that he scored 1,000 points. Winning at Iowa is always going to be tough. I don't think they were particularly bad that game. So honestly, I think this has been a really good stretch of basketball. Are they always the most consistent team? No. You're going to have nights where, as you saw tonight, where your 2 best players provide you nothing in the first half. But this team has other guys that can help carry it. So, no, I wouldn't necessarily think that they've been consistently up and down in January. They were consistently down in December. But I think since the Wisconsin game at January 7th, I think they've played really good basketball nearly that entire time.
All right, let's take a break from the chat. If you got anything, this is your last call. Get in there. Let us know. We've got about 4 or 5 more in there that we'll get to after our everyday guy of the game. Logan Lee, who is your everyday guy of the game?
It's Coleman Hawkins. Despite his 5 turnovers, he was the best player on the court today for the Illini. Was huge. 18 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, and a block. Yeah, he did some stupid things, turnovers, the dumb technical foul hanging on the rim. Coleman's going to Coleman at times, but Rutgers is a good team.
Manny being Manny.
Manny being Manny. Coleman being Coleman. It is what it is. But he was the best player for the Illini tonight. He is. I think he's potentially the most talented basketball player on this team. I know Terrence Shannon can certainly make a case for that, but I don't. And I think Terrence Shannon is even more consistent of a player than what Coleman Hawkins is. But he showed why he can be one of the best players on this team today, and he was great. So Coleman Hawkins for me.
That might be the first Coleman Hawkins everyday guy of the game.
I think it is. That's why I'm happy to take him.
Normally he's in the doghouse from us.
Yeah.
I was waffling, but I'm going to go with Dain. I thought Dain played really well, and the stat sheet doesn't show it, but getting Amori in foul trouble is a huge key in this game. So I'm going to go with Dain. 15 points, 7 rebounds. And getting Amori in foul trouble was huge. Sincere Harris was close. 21 plus minus 21 in 19 minutes is massive. So, all right, chat one more time, and then we are going to call it a day. From Derek Wade, breaking the press will help in the tournament. Yeah, I mean, hopefully they learned today because they were terrible against the press at times today. Other times they were okay, but there were times where they just had no clue what to do.
Yep, and teams are gonna pick on that if they don't improve. They are capable of doing it, but they don't have the skilled ball handler, and that's not helpful. But as pointed out on the broadcast, they do have tall wings that can see over defenders. So you should have that to your advantage. But yeah, at times today they just look bad at beating the press. So yeah, they're gonna have to figure that out for sure.
Joe Groves, Illinois has a strong bench, can always substitute players in and out for rest. They will be fine. I agree. Now that Luke Goody is back, I know we didn't see any RJ Melendez today, but those are two guys that.
Go on. I'm sorry.
Those are two. Now you can go 9 deep again, which are they the best 9 players? You're not going to get much from RJ. I don't think you can expect much from Luke the rest of the year, but they can give you spells of 3 minutes. Now, I don't think any of them will play 25, 30 minutes. I think you have your bulk of Meyer, Shannon, Hawkins, Danger, Epps that will play close to 30, if not more than 30 minutes a game. And then everyone else kind of rotates in with a combination of those 5. I think getting Luke Goody back adds a lot to this roster.
I don't disagree with anything you just said. I just think we need to narrow in on, is the depth a strength or a weakness on this team?
I wouldn't call it a strength. I wouldn't call it a weakness.
We have been so back and forth on what the depth of this team is. I don't think any of the things we've said are wrong at any point this season. I think it's all true. But usually you think of a team's depth as either a strength or a weakness, and you might be right. Maybe it's neither.
It's more of a weakness than the strength.
Yeah,
but I don't think it makes.
But how many teams have
worse?
How many teams have 4 or 5 guys that can put up 15 to 20 points in a game?
Does Illinois have that?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Jaden Epps put up at least 15 in a game, so that's 5. We've seen it out of Dain and Coleman and okay. Meyer and Shannon.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think many teams have that.
I thought you were talking about the guys on the bench.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. When it comes to, I think 1 through 5, Illinois might be as strong as most teams in the country. Not consistently, but I think that 1 through 5, they can compete with most teams. 6 through 8, 6 through 9, I like Illinois 6 through 8 or 6 through 9, but you just don't know what you're going to get offensively. I don't think any of them are going to provide much offense the rest of the season. They can do other things. They can be defensive weapons. They could be energy guys. They can rebound. But unless you get lucky with a Luke Goody streak or RJ Melendez streak or something, they're not going to give you much offense. Yes.
Can I get some breaking news music?
I don't have my music ready, but cue the music. I don't know
what. Per Derek Piper from Illini Inquirer, Underwood says RJ Melendez is suspended for a violation of team rules.
There you go. RJ Melendez suspended.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean I don't know what that is. I didn't know that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I knew that, but it seemed odd that he just didn't play.
Yeah.
Even with Luke Goody coming back. So I figured something was up there. So there you go. Yeah, that's all over Twitter now. Violation of team rules. So, okay. Moving on.
Do you see anything? Can you see the chat? I don't know if you can see the chat.
I can.
See anything else in here?
Let's see. The Coleman blocks.
Comments about the Iowa game.
There was a Coleman block that was nice. No, a couple people just hanging out, agreeing with what I said about the top 2 players.
The depth thing.
Yes.
Point guard depth is
just point guard in general.
Weakness. that
watching
could lose
Sincere Harris,
Illinois again.
Jaden Epps is tolerable as like a number 2 point guard, but watching Sincere Harris sometimes bring the ball up the court gives me anxiety. Not that he can't like just dribble a basketball and walk at the same time, because he's perfectly capable of doing that. But yeah, it's an issue, and you're at this point you're not getting Sky Clark back. So this is what you got, and you just. Or do you think you're getting Sky Clark back? Are you taking optimism from his tweets because he was?
I was going to say, did you see
he was archives? I saw.
Sky Clark is back out there. He posted ad on Instagram for
I didn't
anti-vaping, an anti-vaping ad on Instagram where he is using Illinois basketball. The basketball has the Illinois logo on it, and then his Twitter has 2 clips of plays he made in practice. And I don't know if you noticed, but in one of the clips, he's recording his laptop and he's in class. So the question is he still in class here, or is that old footage? I'm leaning towards the latter. I'm leaning towards it was recorded when he was still on campus.
I'm not going to look
he's
into
back
it
out
too
there.
Much.
I still think he can be a fantastic top 15 to 20 college point guard.
It ain't happening with Illinois.
But I don't think it's happening in Illinois. No. I wish. No. I love his game. I think he has the potential to be a great college basketball player, but I do not think he'll be back in Illinois, unfortunately. So there's that.
No. So yeah, the point guard situation is what it is. This is what you got. Jaden Epps is your only thing close to a point guard, and you just got to hope that Terrence Shannon. It does help again that we're in the day and age of everybody is talented enough to be able to do a lot of things. Matthew Meyer, Coleman Hawkins, Terrence Shannon are all capable of running an offense, initiating an offense, carrying, bringing the ball up the court, that type thing. But yeah, there's just a real lack of true point guard. I have one question for you before we move on, or before we close this thing down.
Yeah.
Have you thought about the fact, or has it bothered you at all, that Illinois has not been in the top 25 since mid-December? No, is that something that's even crossed your mind?
Don't care.
See, I think this is funny. I think this is strange because I'm the same way. It hasn't bothered me a lick at all. But I think about that. I just think that's strange because here we are still talking about this team like there should be towards the top of the Big Ten, which they're currently playing as.
What have they done to prove that they deserve a ranking?
I'm not saying they they have. I just think it's kind of strange that I don't know that anybody cares. I don't think
I care more about bracketology than AP poll.
Oh yeah, for sure. No,
as long as they're with you. As long as they're a 7 seed or higher, I don't care.
No, I'm with you. But I just think it's. I just kind of think it's strange that.
Oh, we're here. Michael's still listening.
Cares.
Poll's not giving Big Ten any love. I don't think it's that. I just think it's that they're beating each other up. Yeah. When a team wins 3 good games, then they go and they lose a game and they fall out or they stop getting the votes. So Illinois is going to hover around that 26 or the receiving votes. Illinois is going to hover around the receiving
top
votes
30 range all season long, but they haven't cracked the top 25
Mm-hmm.
since like December 19th. It's not important. Yeah. I understand, and I agree with you, and that's why it hasn't bothered me. But it is something that I've thought about. Like, should I care about this? Obviously, no, but it's just kind of interesting. All right, let's go.
Next up, because we've been going on for 40 minutes here. Next up is Penn State at Penn State, the 14th, Valentine's Day date with the Nittany Lions. That is Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central on ESPNU. Kenny Loggins should give this team love. I don't know what that means, but the revenge game against Penn State at Happy Valley. Penn State's kind of a dump. I'm not gonna lie. their arena sucks, but it's a tough place to play. And Penn State beat Illinois, so you would hope that Illinois comes out ready to play, trying to do to Penn State what they did to Illinois and win on your opponent's home arena. So right now, ESPN Matchup Predictor has Illinois at a 52.6% chance to win. I don't know how I feel. Penn State's a tough matchup.
I will be a couple things. It is a tough matchup.
Ken Pom has it as a 1-point Illinois win right now.
It's a tough matchup. And Penn State, I don't want to say throttled, but handled Illinois back in December in Champaign.
Are you going to this one too?
No, absolutely not. This is a different Illinois team. This team is playing so much better than they were back when that game happened. And I would I'd much rather have the road win at this point than the home win. So if they can pull it off, and which I think they should be able to, that'll be a nice get for the Illini, because this is a tough Penn State team. They're not playing as well now. They're falling themselves. I mean, they're kind of falling out of tournament contention, but it'd be a nice win to get, because it's still right now considered a quad 1 win. So
that's what I was looking at right there.
Yeah.
The next 2 games are quad 1, then you have a quad 4, and then quad 2, quad 1, quad 2, quad 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4 quad 1 games left on the schedule. Man, closing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quad 1 games of your last 9 is a hell of a closing schedule. So
yeah,
that's where we're at. That is Tuesday night. It is Valentine's, so I don't know that we'll have a post game. I don't know what Logan's plans are. I don't know what my plans are yet. We're celebrating the night before because the restaurant we wanted was already booked on Valentine's Day, so we're doing the 13th celebration. So we shall see. I don't know. We'll let you know. Just if after the game we're on, join us.
I kind of did my birthdays, Christmas, Valentine's Day, engagement celebration, all on vacation. So I don't know that I'll be doing anything Tuesday, but
all right. So come spend your Valentine's Day with us.
We'll see.
It's all you need. All right. For Logan, I'm Craig. Thanks for joining. Like and subscribe.